What's up, everybody? This is Dallin, Candland. This is Yield Today, episode number 50. I am so sorry because I've been working really hard on a episode of Mind-Blowing Moments from the podcast, first 50 episodes. It was just a ton of work. I've had experience with playing around with audio and merging clips together and making this montage hype reel of sorts. But it's just a lot of work, and especially with doing my classes, it just hasn't happened. And so I didn't upload a podcast episode last Monday, and so here we are. And I had some thoughts about seeking for opportunity in difficult times. And for me, I have tried to see the opportunities while I've worked on that more beefy podcast episode. So I'm going to try to get some more of my quick thoughts in these little quick episodes and have another one of these on Monday, upload one today, just so we can get back on track with the Monday uploads and also do one this week. So let's jump into it. It's just really important that you develop that mindset that everything is going to work out in the end, and that you just are willing to trust God, you're willing to trust yourself, you're willing to trust your abilities, you're willing just to keep going, and you're willing to try new things. Whenever you're going through a difficult time, there are things you can learn in that period of time. There are people you can reach in a different way that you cannot reach them in that way ever again. I think of like in Pokemon when your Pokemon is burned, or in Name the Game when you have a status ailment. That's all you're thinking about. You're trying to figure that out. You're trying to get out of that. And you're learning. You're learning about how to treat it, how to face it. And the same thing goes with starting a business. You're learning how to start a business. You're learning how not to start a business. And it's so easy to just you take these losses and you start saying, no, this means that I'm not doing good. This means I'm not making any progress. And I made an Instagram post on my @DreamChaserDallin personal account, and it was just about imposter syndrome, how you make these mistakes, and it's almost like right after that somebody's knocking on the door and be like, hey, you want to become this kind of person? Well, you did this. And the thing is, what he says is completely irrelevant because he's talking from just one little bit of knowledge, just one strand on the string. This one of the most mind-blowing things for me. I remember in church one time they pulled out this long string or long rope thing, and they're like, this little strand right here is life, and the rest of this is eternity. And that's just super mind-blowing to me. But just really helps with optimism. Being optimistic is so powerful. And again, that's hope. That's faith, is that, things might not be great right now, but they're going to get better. I'm going to keep learning. I'm going to keep improving. And so when you're able to see the opportunities and the difficulties, it really helps. I've gotten to the point in my life where when I make a mistake, I really enjoy it. I don't enjoy it, but I rejoice that there's something I can learn from. Like, this is something that I am struggling with. The last 3 days in a row, or 4 days in a row, I think, I've taken some random nap in the day. And the last 3 days, today was from watching General Conference, and I was listening in my headphones. And General Conference is this every 6 months. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints puts on these talks and everything, and all these different church leaders speak, broadcasted over the world and stuff. It's super cool. And yeah, the other days I'd lay down and I was listening to a podcast episode or an audiobook or something, and I just conk out. So, but those are things, those are moments, those are like, there's something to learn here, and that is super duper cool. And when you're able to see the opportunity and the difficulty, it's like, hey, if I change up one thing, maybe this won't happen again. Maybe I can change something up, and then something else will come up. And that can be, again, really difficult. But remembering that all these different wins, they'll add up over time. And a lot of times you don't even notice how they do. They just do. So yeah, it just really helps with when you have those little wins. I don't know, just staying optimistic when things aren't going in the best direction. So there's always something to learn from a difficult time. You slept in, you can learn from that. Like, what did you do last night? What was your mindset? Did you meditate? Lately, I've been meditating for 20 minutes the last 2 days. I'm going to meditate a little bit tonight for 20 minutes. It's been super helpful with me digging more into myself, my clarity of thought, being able to focus on the things that matter most and unfocus from the things that don't matter most. I find that unconsciously, sometimes I'll focus on things like, my podcast isn't that big compared to this person or whatever, fill in the blank. And the thing is, that's not the most important thing, because if that becomes the most important thing in my life, we have a problem. We have a real problem. Matthew 6:21 talks about where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. And 7 Habits of Highly Effective People talks about how important a value-based life is. Building on that, making that your paradigm instead of your wife or your kids. Those things are fantastic paradigms, but you want to have values like faith and charity. You want those to be like the guiding principles for your life. Because if all you're doing is trying to appease your kids and help them out and just serve them and just not, I'm not a parent, obviously, but if you spoil them, they're going to spoil, right? That's kind of how I see it. But anyway, we're kind of getting off topic. This is kind of more of a smorgasbord episode of sorts. I just really want to get something out there. I love podcasting. I love learning. I love digging into myself. I love helping others dig into themselves and digging with them and learning new things. It's super exciting. And for the last 4 or 5 days, I've just been trying to edit this episode. It is just a real struggle, this mind-blowing moments episode. And honestly, it's not going to be a perfect episode, but I'm going to try to get it out in the next couple weeks or so and just work on it behind the scenes and not get too upset about it, because things happen. You mess up, you struggle, you sleep in, all these different things happen, and it's okay. You learn from your mistakes. You try to see the opportunity in the difficulty. Think of I get so excited, but think of I don't know, I was just listening to Be Obsessed, I think, or Be Average by Grant Cardone. He has some good stuff. Not a complete fan of everything he says, but he has some good stuff. He talked about Uber. The guy who started Uber noticed this problem, and now he has this billion-dollar company from it because he recognized this problem. If you can see the problem in yourself, these little struggles you have, you can invest that in yourself by changing those things, and that's investing tons of mental, spiritual, emotional capital into yourself and brings up your emotional net worth, I guess you could say. I guess you could say it that way. I don't know. I don't know if that's helpful. But for me, focusing on those opportunities is absolutely crucial for me to staying alive in the game, keeping my vision alive. We've talked about that in the past on the podcast. And yeah, just staying upbeat. It really helps me out with that when I'm just appreciating the little wins, enjoying the journey, and seeing the opportunities and the difficulties, because they are always there. I don't care how far you have to dig. There is always opportunity in difficulty. Always, always, always. A lot of the things that I've started doing have come because of difficult times that came up. Breakdowns can inspire breakthroughs. You will see things differently. If you are in a super deep hole, you have a different perspective on life than anybody else has, and that is valuable, and you can do anything with that. Lately, I've been playing this game a lot called Don't Starve on my live stream, and I keep messing up in the game, and I keep struggling, and today I streamed it a little bit, and I died, and yet there are things I've learned every single time I've played that game, and, it's obviously not. Again, this isn't the treasure of my life. No, the treasure of my life is my faith, God, family, all these different things, and those values that I try to hold on to and keep living up to, like faith, hope, and charity, diligence, hope, all these different things, continuing to become a better version of myself. That's also something I'm very passionate about. I believe really strongly, and I know this strongly, is that God can see the opportunity in all of our difficulties. And it's so inspiring to me when somebody's able to rise above from the rubble, trust themselves, trust God, and just go for it. And I know that you can bounce back from whatever you're going through. There's always opportunity and difficulty. I made this episode for somebody Maybe it was just for myself, but I don't think it was just for myself. I don't believe these ideas and thoughts come into my mind by accident. This idea came to my mind while I was eating a peanut butter and honey sandwich. So inspiration can come anytime, anywhere. Be ready to act on it, and life will be a lot better. And that is for certain. Meditation's been really good. Did a really good cold shower today. Life is good. I'll see you guys with another mini episode on Monday. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to review the podcast. Share with your friends if you really enjoy it. That really helps it get out there. And this was episode number 50. So hallelujah, we made it. And I'm excited for the future. Overjoyed that this podcast is helping you out. It's helped me out a lot too. So thank you all. And don't forget to yield today. It'll be a brighter and a better tomorrow.